Hey, this is Pamela Schneider for Blue Book Services. I have Greg Johnson, our Director of Media Development, with me, and we're doing the Produce Reporter Week in Review. Greg, I noticed that you have a new story coming out pretty soon about grapes. What's going on with the grape market? Something interesting this year.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you are expecting to see big promotions for Memorial Day, it will not happen this year. All retail stores will have grapes, but there are not enough grapes in the pipeline. The problem is Chile ended a tad bit early, and Mexico is about 10 days to 2 weeks behind. So what that means is we'll have a gap for about 2 weeks where grapes will just be pretty expensive, and that's all there is to it. Mexico is delayed, but they still expect to have about a 25% bigger crop than last year, which means June is going to be awesome for grapes. There's going to be a ton of grapes, high quality, just massive volume. So that'll be good for promotions. It'll just miss Memorial Day.
Especially for those retailers that do their planning for promotions on a short-term basis rather than the long-term basis. So that's really an opportunity on grapes for June. But we're going to see a little more reliance on other fruit for the Memorial Day pull. What else did you write about? A little bit about tomatoes, I think. We've been kind of an everyday thing here now.
Seems like about every day we're hearing something from one of the sides involved in the tomato suspension agreement halt. FPAA said this week that Florida is imposing too strict and unrealistic rules on the Mexican growers and ultimately will raise prices for consumers. And then Florida has come back saying the Department of Commerce would never propose something that was illegal through PACA or unfair in any way. And they're claiming that basically they want to get rid of the rules in place that allow Mexican growers to game the system by kind of downgrading product and both buyer and seller agreeing and then pricing it cheaper and getting it under the floor price. So it's back and forth, and we'll see where it shakes out.
We've seen some legal challenges as well. The Mexican growers have filed a lawsuit. And one of the things that I noticed at Viva Fresh was the panel that talked about the tomato suspension agreement and what was going to happen. This was before we knew that the deal would be final. They talked about how this rule, this dumping investigation, and that's what the core of this is, that there was a dumping investigation that was suspended. Those are 1996 rules. What was going on in the tomato market in 1996 is not what's going on in the tomato market in 2019. We have different varieties. Are there going to be challenges from growers about the varieties that are grown that were not grown in Florida at the time or in the United States at the time that the dumping investigations were going on? What is the new normal? We can't go on 1996 rules when the market has changed so much.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the 90s, that was the heyday in the United States of imported Dutch greenhouse product, peppers, tomatoes. A lot has changed for sure.
Yeah, a lot of shoots. I can remember the first time that my mom started buying Roma tomatoes at the store. That was groundbreaking. Instead of just getting the round gassed greens, and then we saw tomatoes on the vine. Holy cow, that was totally new. So it's a lot different now when you walk into the store and see a dozen different kinds and in different packages and formulations. So.
Well, we can't stop the video without talking about Walmart. They had a call this week and some news on the e-commerce front, among other things. Why don't you tell us about that?
This was entirely not unexpected. Walmart posted the best same-store sales that they've had in 9 years. And it was really led by growth of e-commerce. They said that their e-commerce division grew 37% in the quarter, and not surprising at all to me. I did Walmart grocery pickup for a few reasons last week. One of them was because we were going to hear Walmart earnings, and I wanted to preview and show people what it's like to order their groceries online from Walmart. I live in Austin, Texas, which, we have a really strong regional retailer in H-E-B, and yet I'm usually happier with my Walmart e-grocery. And there's a few reasons, I guess. One of them is it's a seamless transaction. It's pretty easy. Another reason is that they don't charge a percentage on top of the price. which some of the other grocers do. Walmart just raised its minimum order threshold from like somewhere in the 30s. I think it was $35. Now it's $50. But HEB charges 3% on top of its regular price to order online, which for me discourages stock up. I don't buy as much if I have to pay 3% more than if I was in the store. I'm only
That's a weird incentive system. I agree.
You know, I understand they got to pay for it. We gotta somehow fund this, but we want our e-commerce baskets to be bigger. But just see that 3% tacked on, just for me, it's a visceral reaction of no, I want 3% off. I don't want to pay extra 3%.
Yes.
And then somebody asked me too, and I had a few minutes to chew on this. Is it because Walmart's grocery pickers are employees and not contract workers? Is it because they're not Instacart shoppers or, you know, Shipt or Favor or who else is doing order fulfillment? And it could be that. I'm not sure.
That would be a funny change because, you know, Walmart has a reputation for employees not doing a good job merchandising produce. But if they were the ones who are selecting it and being better at it than some of their competitors who generally get high marks for merchandising, that would be a juxtaposition.
It is an interesting juxtaposition, and it's something that I've actually talked to a few people, including I talked to somebody from Walmart a couple of years ago about this, the first couple of times that I started ordering grocery pickup at Walmart, and I was shocked at the accuracy and the quality, and the substitutions were always in my favor and never something strange, which I've gotten from other retailers. And he told me that, you know, Walmart really, really emphasized this, and they wanted to nail it with their grocery pickup and grocery delivery. Well, they hadn't started grocery delivery yet, but the pickup and the e-commerce fulfillment, they wanted to be far and away the best in the market that they could do. And it was even like tough on specs because the pickers were actually too tough, and causing some issues with wanting to charge back stuff. And that is unheard of when we think about the training and the employee issues that sometimes they have. But I've always been satisfied. I did notice the other day that there's one of those training academies that just built on the side of the Walmart over there in Cedar Park. So I kind of want to, you know,
right
check
around
out
the corner, huh?
Yeah, I know. I'd be like, ooh, what's going on
What are you
here?
guys doing in there? I can tell you some things.
Maybe I could, like, you know, put on one of those little vests and go in and do some reconnaissance or something, spy on Walmart's training academy.
Yeah, it's hopefully they can get to a point where people like you aren't shocked when they do a good job at it.
True. Yeah. I know I dog on Walmart a lot, and but the reason why is the potential that they have, especially in, you know, areas that are food deserts and things like that. A lot of produce goes into Walmart, and I want to see a lot of produce come out of Walmart and get into people's, you know, kitchens and increase produce consumption in the bottom line. And they have a tremendous potential to have impact, and I want them to do a good job. So I pick on them a lot, and it's really nice to see when they do well.
Yeah, and they offer a great value.
Yeah, I totally missed that when I said good value. Well, that's it for the Produce Reporter Week in Review. If you are not getting our newsletter, sign up at producebluebook.com.